Okay, Jacob, a little bit of a recap, just to, as we stand here and kind of getting a little bit deeper into the unrestricted free agents.
Yeah, I'm just gonna run down team by team, give everyone, because obviously I have this big spreadsheet in front of me. You guys have big spreadsheets in front of you guys. Listeners don't, so I'll just run through kind of the current state of everyone's roster.
Mhm.
So we've got Atlanta, 8 players rostered. They've got $445,000 in cap space. They can still offer a supermax pretty comfortably. So they're in a pretty flexible spot. Chicago, comparable. They've got 7 players rostered now. Over 750,000 in cap space, and they could.
I thought I was muted. I'm sorry.
Connecticut is in a real tight spot right now. They've got 7 players under contract, about 265,000 in cap space. They are at a spot where basically they're rookie minimums. They can't offer anyone with over 3 years of service time, or with 3 or more years of service time. They're going to either have to make some moves or fill out the roster with players who are in the early stages of their career. So we got Dallas, plenty of space. As many as 5 open spots, $650,000 in cap space. They can likewise throw out, I think, maybe only 1 supermax and then a max after that, I think is how that math would work out. But they're in a good spot. Golden State, similar, although they are in a spot now where they have to be a little bit cautious with their money. They've got a maximum bid still above a supermax, but again, with 5 spots to fill out. So I'd expect probably a lot of $100,000 to $125,000 deals coming out of there. Indy, I hadn't actually checked in Indiana after they signed Natasha Howard. They're now sitting with, they've got 11 players rostered, so their cap space is their max bid, which is about 160,000.
Yeah, we can offer about 160 without cutting anybody, or basically go to the max if we were to go down to 11 players.
Yep. LA, after that Courtney Vandersloot signing, is in a spot pretty similar to Golden State. They have fewer spots to fill, but they can still offer a supermax, and then beyond that, if they throw out a supermax, they'd have about 130,000 to throw around. For their final 2 spots, Vegas is in the exact same spot as Connecticut. They are in a spot where they're going to have to, without, as Richard mentioned, without dumping Kia Stokes, they're going to be on all rookie contract, or not rookie contract, but the lower minimum salary the rest of the way.
If Jess Shepherd and Xander Lassini actually signed and showed up, we would have to make a move with Kia Stokes.
So take that, everyone, as pressure on Richard to maybe squeeze him for something in return for taking Kia Stokes off his hands. Although she's unprotected, he could just straight up cut her. And then Minnesota has a max bid of about 107,000, but as Jamie said, starting out, they're returning a starting 5 from a finals team, so that's a comfortable spot for them to be in. New York still has room for a supermax. The way that these bids have been going, I obviously don't see that happening because they've got to find ways to spread money around to Johannès and I guess like Gardner at this point, and then their first round pick. And Phoenix and Washington, I'll just kind of group together, are in very similar spots, very wide open. Seattle is the 3rd team that's in a spot now where, without further moves, they are, although this is actually close. Yeah, without further moves, they are also stuck with those lower deals exclusively the rest of the way. So I'll try and, as more teams get kind of close to those margins, I'll try and chime in where relevant. But yeah, everyone's outside of like 3 teams is still very wide open in what they can do. So
okay, well, let's get back to it then with some more moves. I just want to make sure I know. Is there any trades or anything that wants to be negotiated right now? Like just as we kind of have this pause here, is there anything outside of just the unrestricted free agents that we would like to discuss? GMs, anything?
Nekias.
I don't think the Aaliyah Edwards trade.
I'm afraid I have.
Trying.
I don't think that one is gonna go through.
Mm.
But I do want to talk about just to make mention of it. I know we had kind of discussed prior with Elena Delle Donne. Doesn't really sound like she's coming back. Like it's kind of been it doesn't seem like it. So we are just for a viewer perspective, just know that we are not ignoring EDD. She is just not. She's not in our player pool for this mock free agency. We can move on though, just kind of going back to the list and working our way down. Misha Hines-Allen is a player that we will dive into next. Let's Minnesota. I'll start with you, and we'll take it from there.
Considering the fact that we have now kind of shored things up with some of the depth as far as adding Kalani Brown and also having the Jordan Canada contract, I don't believe that we will be making an offer to Misha.
Okay. Okay. Well, show of hands interest for Hines-Allen. Okay, we'll just work our way down. Chelsea, Sabrina, Kevin, Madeline. We'll start with Chelsea.
She was at 180 last year. I'm gonna offer her. I'll start at 190, but I could go higher.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. I like hearing go higher. Okay, Sabrina.
We really should do these in the opposite order so that Chelsea doesn't outbid me every time we start.
This is true. You know, we'll
I would have outbid you too.
Yeah, this is yeah.
It's not so much that Misha Hines-Allen, I'm not sure is max worthy here, but Phoenix would be interested in her as our starting power forward. We could do like 170, 180 for her.
Okay, that's intriguing. Kevin.
Dallas is offering the max.
Okay. Okay.
I'm really bad at this. Clearly, I'm not a good GM.
Well, I think teams are just in very different spots when it comes just to the amount that they can and the overpays that can happen. Golden State, are you willing to go up to the max for?
It kind of depends on what Mo Billings is thinking, player agent.
Well, that sounds like Dallas. You might have a deal. In the sense of what way, Golden State? To take a less money or?
See, I see my brain not being good at math does not know if I could sign both of them for the max. So let me look.
Okay. Dallas, from a basketball perspective, what is the vision here for Hines-Allen?
Yeah, I think she's competing with Maddie Siegrist to start at the 4, and we think there's going to be plenty of playing time because Siegrist will probably swing to the 3 at times as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Chelsea, you said that you are not offering the max?
Hold on, give me 1 second here. No, my 190, 200-ish is
We'll go ahead and lock that deal in then, Dallas. For the max and
terrific.
That nice and simple on that one. Dallas and Golden State have just been the money that they can throw around is kind of crazy. Okay. Hey Phoenix, want to talk DT real quick?
I mean, there's not a lot to discuss here.
Yeah.
Coming back to Phoenix, right? So
of course, wouldn't happen any other way. But last year it was on, what was it?
Supermax, basically.
Yeah.
You saw some of the issues we had depth-wise in Phoenix last year, relying a lot on some young, unproven players. We would prefer to avoid such a situation this year. Okay. So ideally, we just, we'll mark $200K for you, and if we come back at the end of free agency, we can add more to that.
Okay, I think I am okay. Presumably, the last ride here, want to go out as successful as possible. I think that works for DT. I mean, we'll go 200K and then we can circle back at the end and if anything is left over.
Yeah, let's do 200 and circle back. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that will be going to DT's pockets, whatever is left. Okay, I do think we have a trade between Chelsea and Richard. correct?
We do.
Okay.
So, Golden State will be trading a 2026 second round pick in exchange for Kia Stokes.
Okay.
We
Simple
have
enough.
a center.
There you go. Okay. Let's diving back in just to the free agency list a little bit. Another European player making her return to the WNBA is Marine Johannès. New York, we'll start off with you, and then any other teams that are interested, we will go from there.
Yeah, we would love to have her back. Obviously, I think we'd probably have to be around I'm thinking space-wise 100, because so
interesting. Any other teams interested in Marine?
Yes,
like
but I
Marine
don't.
Phoenix.
Okay, wait.
But she's reserved, so this would have to be a trade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she's
So
reserved.
we are.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would have to have Jacob. You can fact check us on this one and how to best go about it. But yes, obviously we'd have to have the further talks in there. But if there are other teams interested, we can certainly have that dialogue in making that trade and whatnot potentially. That is up to y'all. That's on to a point. But Marine is certainly.
New York will hold a lot of leverage here, as reserve is kind of other than, I mean, there's suspended rights, but this is basically about as strong of rights as you can get. Yeah. They're under no obligation to go higher or make a trade, so cards are in New York's hand.
New York, is that done deal?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that, because how much more, where am I up to now? I think I have like 300 after that for 4 players.
What have you?
100.
You would have 350 to go around for 3 or 4 more players.
I could do like 115.
We'll take that. We can work with that. Thanks for being so kind, New York. That extra little pocket change, so appreciative. Okay, check Marine off the list. Next up, Odyssey Sims is another name that was requested. Yes. Where was she at last year money wise?
Well, she was
kind of
on
it was
it's not a lot of pressure deals. So.
Yeah, okay. So that's let's just open up the doors. Hands for interest for Odyssey Sims. Okay, Chelsea, you're going last. Jamie, we'll start off with your interest and where you're at.
Yeah, so my interest is on behalf of Atlanta. It's actually kind of boggled my mind that Odyssey Sims hasn't been starting out seasons, at least on contracts, even if they're unprotected. And so, especially for Atlanta, they're going through some kind of shifts, but that is certainly a position that is really crucial. And man, did she have some really great outputs last year, even with bouncing around through a couple teams. And again, all of this is positioning to be able to really make a lot of moves for next year. And so going into the free agency market is obviously really appealing. As far as numbers, I know that's the priority. We do still have a good bit of cap space to work with. I'm not entirely sure how strongly Chelsea is going to jump in here, so we can certainly discuss once she does, but we would probably be starting out at about 100.
Okay. 100.
Yeah, unfortunately I have high rolled a lot, and I probably would.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, we ballin' in Golden State. But yeah, my offer.
You're no longer balling.
Yeah, on a budget now. You might still be balling, but it's on
a budget, which is more my real life speed. But yeah, my offer for Odyssey was going to be in the range of like 80 to 90, so I don't think I can beat Jamie's offer.
Okay.
What if the sky jumped in?
Let's talk.
Jamie's offer was 100. I'm thinking 110.
I'd go 120.
Chicago?
I have money. 130.
Jamie?
135.
Chicago?
I'll match 135.
Are either of these protected deals?
No.
Okay. Make me Chicago. What's your basketball pitch? And Atlanta, we'll come back to you.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think like a player like her would complement, our young core, and she'd be kind of a spark plug of the off. We'd run a lot of the offense through her and have her be a playmaker for us. Yeah.
Starting role?
What is my roster right now? Yeah.
I was going to say, is she replacing Hines-Allen?
Hines-Allen is rostered, isn't she?
So she's going to start ahead of Lindsay?
But Hines-Allen is not protected if you did want to move on.
We'll see how training camp goes.
Okay. Atlanta, can you offer me any in the sense of guarantees of starting or anything of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, I would have a really hard time believing that she wouldn't be the starting point guard. The only other person she would be competing with there would be, Haley Jones I don't prefer as a point guard anyway. She's done it out of necessity. But otherwise, we're talking about Julie Von Lowe, who I think would be a great person to come in off the bench for Atlanta. So there would be a very, very good chance that Odyssey would be starting. I don't like to make a guarantee on starting positions, but I'd be very surprised if she wasn't in the spot to be the starter.
Okay. Well, just based on that and obviously the holes to fill, especially in Atlanta, I think that opportunity is one for Odyssey to find herself a bit of a home over the course of this season and fill a large need for Atlanta. So we are going to send Odyssey to the Dream. Okay. Let's go. Yeah.
Oh, I just want to quickly announce a trade.
Oh, okay. It's like when you like the ring.
Have Ty Harris going to the Sparks for Julie Allemand and a 2026 second round pick.
Okay. I see the vision. I like that move. Okay. I love it. So now just kind of getting back to the list, the very top of my list is Shatori Walker Kimbro. Washington. Where are we at with Shatori?
We'd like to have her back. I think that blend of defense, some of the shot making she showcased last year, important driver for us, good veteran presence. If we can get her back we will say, actually, let me double check, make sure I don't lowball her. Let me see what her figure was for last.
Yeah, she was at right at 98 last year.
98, okay. So yeah, we can go up to 125.
Okay. Anyone rivaling that offer?
Chicago would do 130.
Okay.
And we would suggest come play a bigger role in Indiana than you do in Washington.
At what number?
We'll match the 130.
Okay. Washington, any rebuttal?
I'll go to 135.
Other teams, any rebuttal?
Again, we'll match that.
Okay. Chicago?
140.
140.
I have the money. I was too conservative early on because I thought,
so
this still makes sense. And now I'm like,
okay. Indiana, what is your max mark here, Indiana?
Again, we'll match 140.
Okay. Chicago?
150.
Okay, Richard. Or Washington as well. Washington 150. Does that interest you at all?
We'll say 150 and $1.
Okay, price is right. Indiana, are you bound out?
Spencer
and
Dinwiddie
firm
style.
handshake.
It is Spencer Dinwiddie style.
No, Raptors legend Spencer Dinwiddie.
Okay.
Indiana, are you bound out?
We will offer $150,218.
Okay.
There is a very good reason for that specific number.
I assume so. Is anyone willing to pass 150,218?
We'll go up to $220 on that.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Chicago, are you willing to go 155?
Yeah.
Washington?
Hey, listen, handshake emoji.
Hey, hey.
Enjoy.
I'm trying to think if 5,000 is enough to get me away from Washington. What about 165?
That feels like I'm overpaying.
What do you mean in the middle at 160?
Why can't you just take the offer I gave you?
Well, because Nekias offered me a handshake.
I'll give you a handshake as well.
Ooh, it's a hard bargain. But see, it's the familiarity here, you know?
Whereas Will offered the opportunity to play with Caitlin Clark.
I know, that's why I was like trying to bid you out. I can't compete with that.
Just to suggest with the Washington, is it really familiarity when they have a new coaching staff and
this is a fantastic
away
point.
Like 4 of the players that they had last year?
This is a fantastic point. You do have unfamiliar hands over there shaking it and doing these business deals, Nekias.
You see, I'm the familiar hand. That's all that matters.
No, oh no.
Hey, listen, I was here last year. You know, we route with Shatori here.
Unfortunately, I do think Chicago. I do think that you have a deal. And we will lock that in. I think that is a fantastic opportunity to go play with one of the up and coming teams. Fantastic motion going on in Chicago, and good money, good payday for Shatori. A great payday for the player agent. Okay, next up on the list is Mercedes Russell. If we have any interest in Mercedes,
yeah, we do.
Okay, who is we as in the Fever, we as in the Aces, or we as in we're doing the same thing?
We in Las Vegas would offer you the vet minimum to come and win again. You've made a lot of money in Seattle. We think winning might be rather more important to you at this point.
Yeah.
Indiana would still have some interest, but given that we have signed Natasha Howard, spent a lot of money on her, promised her a starting spot, you would be lower down the pecking order in Indiana.
Understandable. Any other interest in Russell?
Phoenix would go up to 100, but you would be Brittany Griner's backup and occasionally start because we know that she isn't likely to play all 44 games.
Okay. Vegas, what is the role that you are offering there?
To some extent, it depends whether Jessica Shepard signs and shows up.
Okay.
But Miesemann would be our presumed starter alongside Asia Wilson. Russell would be next, given that we have now traded away Kia Stokes. Right. So Mercedes Russell would hopefully be a defensive replacement for Stokes, who can do a little bit more on the offensive end, less of a black hole on the offensive end.
Got you. Are you able to go up any higher than the vet minimum from Vegas?
In Vegas, no.
No, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Phoenix, I think we will go with you. It's a win now potential and a little bit bigger role for more money. I think we can work with that. So we will lock that one in for Russell to Phoenix. And I think we can jump over to we have 4 restricted contracts left as well that are some pretty decent names here that I think we can jump over to. Starting off with Dana Evans from Chicago. Chicago, what is the plan here for Dana Evans?
We'd be open to a sign and trade.
Okay. Is anyone open?
I think she doesn't. I think she is hoping to have a bigger role, and I don't think I can offer her that, and so we would love to, leverage her in some way.
Yeah, I certainly agree that the bigger role is a priority here. Obviously, the money that comes along with that would also be fantastic. Are any teams open to said sign and trade?
Yes. Do you have interest in Steph Talbot?
Yes.
Okay, that's fun. I also, Kevin, I feel like you need to pipe in here because Kevin and I have been talking on the side about Steph Talbot. So I don't know if we can make this some sort of thing here, but yeah. So so from Dana Evans sign and trade from Chicago, Kevin, what else could you throw in there to juice up your offer?
I would say our interest is probably not firm enough at this point that you should let it distract you from making this trade.
All right. So yeah, okay. I'm down to do Steph Talbot for Dana Evans. Sign and trade.
Okay, are there any other interest in the sign and trade and making another offer to Chicago? No. Okay. Golden State, let's talk money then.
Yeah.
Let's talk money. Where are you at offer wise for the floor of Dana Evans? Certainly looking for a little bit of a pay raise here.
Yeah, so Steph Talbot is on, I think, 125. So I could offer Dana Evans like 110.
At the lowest you can go? Or is there any flexibility there to potentially move that up at all?
I mean, the highest I'm gonna go is Steph Talbot's 125.
Let's do that. We'll lock that in at 125. You get 125 in and out. We can work with that.
Works for me.
So Dana Evans, you are a Valkyrie. Next up is Ary McDonald, LA. How are we feeling on Ary?
So we did just bring in a starting point guard in Courtney Vandersloot, but we still think that you're going to factor into the guard rotation here. Your qualifying offer is about $93,000.
Yep.
So let's just bump that up to an even 100. Come back, familiarity with Pac-12 coach and Lynn Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keep things moving along.
I think that sounds swell. I think that works. I'm pretty well good on that. Unless there's
Dallas would offer. Like, if we could work out a sign and trade, we'd be willing to do like a 125.
I'm also ears to that if that is. I'll let y'all. We'll let y'all have the discourse there. But I think Ary is if there is presumably a backup role in Dallas as well.
Indiana
so similar role
would have some interest in you being our third guard behind Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark as well.
Okay, for what price point are we looking at here?
There's like 6 minutes available behind Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell.
But we'll see.
One of them probably get hurt at some point.
Well,
but similar to what Kevin was offering in Dallas, sort of 125 sort of range.
Okay, I will let y'all discuss the trade offers, and we can kind of go from there and see. Obviously, it's up to the.
Are you only interested in 1-year deals still for her as well?
More than likely, yes. But it kind of depends on how it shakes out. But more than likely, we're still on pretty much 1-year deal on that way, pretty much relatively across the board for the free agents.
So, Richard, what could Indiana send Los Angeles' way?
Richard, did we ever decide what second round pick you were sending us for Natasha Howard in that sign and trade?
I'm not sure we did. That was. Did you want the 8th pick this year? Sorry, 8th pick in the second round this year.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that works. We can do that.
So we're offering that for Ary McDonald.
Okay, so it'd be the number 20th pick for the rights to Ary McDonald. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Richard?
Do you have any interest in Christy Wallace?
What's the deal with Grace Berger? Is she going to play?
I mean, I would like her to. Christy Size decided she wasn't going to. I think we would keep Grace rather than trade her for Ary. So yeah, we would rather do a deal for Christy Wallace if you have any interest.
What's Christy Wallace's contract situation?
1 year, 80,823. And then would be a restricted free agent at the end of the year.
Gotcha.
We could throw in the rights to Sevgi Uzun if that helps our offer.
Don't celebrate too hard on that one.
I think I'd prefer Christy Wallace for the Sparks. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, what if we did the 14th pick this year? So the top
14th
pick of the second round. Yeah.
So we would have the first 2 picks in the second round then.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, Richard, can you beat that?
I think we're sticking. We're running out of second round picks. Unfortunately, we've used them in other deals.
Yeah, I'll take the 14th pick.
Okay,
let's do that. And then we'll send Ary on. What was it? 125.
125. Yeah.
125. Okay, let's do that.
Protected.
Yep. Then we will send Ary McDonald to Dallas in a sign and trade. Okay, we got 2 more restricted deals left. Next up is Temi Fagbenle from Golden State.
Yeah, so we're willing to give Temi the range of 80 to 90, depending on what other offers come through. If anybody else is throwing their hat in the ring.
Yeah, so that would be another sign and trade potential. So is anyone interested or throwing a offer that Golden State will not match?
We would like Temi back in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Change of management.
Okay.
What are you willing to give me?
How do you feel about Christy Wallace?
Christy Wallace. Do I need another guard? I don't think so. No, I'm really, if I'm hearing offers on front court, that's really what we're gonna do here.
I mean, yeah, I have to do this as if I am the GM, not as if I am imitating the Indiana GM. We would send you Damiris Dantas because I would prefer to have Temi Fagbenle over Damiris Dantas.
Nah.
Okay, well, that'll.
In that case, would Temi Fagbenle have any interest in signing a 2-year deal where we promise to waive her after one season, like I mentioned as a theoretical concept earlier on?
I mean, I guess that's allowed. And I mean, league office. How are we? Yeah, how are we?
Here.
League office.
It's allowed if I didn't hear that.
Okay, did you?
But the thing is, if you sign her to a reasonable deal, wouldn't she just get claimed off of waivers?
That would be the risk, yes.
And see, that's not.
And that's a risk for her too, because then she doesn't get to double dip for the year too.
So I don't know if that is what I'm exactly willing to commit to. Is there any other interest from a sign and trade perspective for Temi? No? Okay. Chelsea, you said you would go up to 90.
Yes.
Hang on. Phoenix has a second to throw Golden State's way.
A second round pick?
Yeah.
In 2025?
Yeah. If we can be certain that Temi's coming over this year.
We're under that assumption. We'll operate under that. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so
let's do it.
Let's talk then.
Do we have a 2026 second left, Jacob? You're tracking this better than I am at this point. In Indiana.
There was a 2026 second moving somewhere. We don't have this. We don't have anything beyond 2025 on our worksheet. So that was the.
That might be making up second round picks at this point.
I think we
came from Richard going to
me.
Yeah, so
2026. Or did I give? No, I took.
Yep.
I don't remember. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So I took a second round or 2026 second round pick.
Yeah. Get Temi paid. Go pay her somewhere else. I'm more than happy with that.
Okay.
I mean, this is a little awkward, but Mercedes Russell was unprotected, and I think Phoenix would rather have Temi Fagbenle.
Well, I mean,
there you go.
The ordering of these transactions is a little complicated, but
yeah. No. Okay. So, 2025 second round pick for the rights to
negotiate with Temi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess you're for Mercedes Russell, but well, Phoenix, let's talk then. What number are you looking at that 100K for Mercedes to go to Temi?
I mean, right now we could do both. Technically, I'd like another guard to fill out, ideally, but yeah, for now we could do 100.
Okay, I'm pretty okay with that. And then obviously you're not afraid to cut a player if you need to, so we can. I
think Temi fits next to BG too, if necessary.
I agree.
A little more versatility in that front court then.
Yeah. Okay, as we're kind of winding down here, there's certainly final number on Temi is 100. On that, we have for first off, is there any other players that are immediately poking out that we want to talk about?
Dallas would like to talk to Kennedy Burke.
Okay, let's talk to Kennedy Burke then. New York. What is your kind of starting offer for Kennedy Burke?
She was on 70. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to be in like the 85 range, I think.
Okay, Dallas, what are you? Where are you sitting at?
Yeah, we'll offer 120. Protected.
Anyone doing better than 120 for Kennedy Burke?
Indiana
120 protected?
would offer
Yes.
125.
125, is that a protected 125?
In Indiana, if we have a spot left, she can have it.
We'll go 140.
Indiana, you willing to match that?
For 1 year, yes, we are.
But not guaranteed protected.
We have 1, 2, 3. Those don't count. Yep, she can protect. We can protect it.
Dallas, are you willing to go any higher on that?
We'll go 160.
Indiana.
Jacob's shaking his head.
So.
Yeah, I know Indiana cannot. Indiana, how high can Indiana go here?
I think technically it's 159, although Indiana might have other moves in the works.
Okay.
We would go to that same 150, 218 that we were at earlier on for Shatori Walker Kimbro.
Okay. When we're talking roles here, what are we, Dallas, if you'd like to go first, just to kind of get a picture for the on-court.
Yeah, as we look at this team, I think the big weakness we see is really not a lot of on-ball defenders on the perimeter. I mean, Paige Beckers can play that role, but we'd prefer her not to. So we see you potentially having the chance, depending on matchups, to even finish some games possibly if we need you to defend the opponent's best perimeter player.
Indiana, what role are we thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar in that she would probably mostly be a 3 for us, and it depends on sort of how real Lexi Hull's explosion towards the end of last season was. If she continues to be a 50% 3-point shooter, then that role on the wing starts to become hers. But if it's less real than it seemed, then we need someone very much in that spot who can knock down an occasional shot, play defense. And Burke would probably also play some small ball 4 for us in certain situations, the same way she did in New York.
Okay, are either of these places have a potential for a starting spot? So Indy, you're saying kind of just depend on Lexi and working your way into that. Dallas, where are you sitting with that?
Look, we're going to come in to compete in training camp, but it'd probably have to be at the 4, and there is a lot of competition there with Misha Hines-Allen and Maddie Siegrist.
Right. Okay. I think if we're going to go 1-year deal here, I do think, well, since the money difference is, Dallas, are you willing to go any higher on this?
The most that we can offer is 166.
Okay.
I mean, let's call it 165.
Yeah. And Dallas, you're at, was it 150?
You mean in Indiana?
Oh, yes,
Indiana.
sorry.
Yeah, 150, 218 in order to fit in all the other pieces we want.
218. Okay. I think with the ability to with the potential of some space opening up for Indiana in the future, cap space wise, as with a lot of 1-year deals and working our way into position, I think we're going to go with the Indiana deal, just based off of the potential a little bit more potential to get paid in the coming year if there is a breakout in that way. So we will go to Indiana on that. Okay, next up, just any other players that jump out? I know we like Kennedy Burke. I know we have Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, Aerial Powers, Izzy Harrison. Just throwing some names out. If any, like I said, I know we're kind of getting towards the end here.
Have we done Michaela Onyenwere yet?
Oh no, we have not.
Of Michaela, yeah.
Yes, okay. She's our last restricted. We can knock that out. So Chicago, we'll start with you with Michaela, and we'll take it from there.
Sorry. No, we plan to bring her back.
Okay.
So,
where are you starting at?
Like 95.
95. Okay. Nekias, I know you dropped the name, so if you'd like to go first on where your deal stands, what team, and so on and so forth.
Oh, we'd love to add her to the crew in Washington.
Okay.
Especially in light of the trade that we made. We think we have some minutes left at either forward spot, honestly. So my ability to certainly be there. We would like to start. We'll go multi-year deal if she's up to it. We will start at $120 a year.
Okay. We will see on the multi-year, but any other teams interested in Michaela Onyenwere?
I can do 1 year, 100,000.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Just to get all the deals on the board. No.
I'll go up to 120.
Go up to 120. So you're willing to match the Washington deal on that?
Yeah. I'm out.
Okay, so we might have to talk sign and trade here then, with the restricted basis of Chicago being willing to match the 120. So Washington, either if you want to raise the number or talk sign and trade, we're certainly open to the project in Washington, but got to make it happen within the restricted rights.
Got you. I will say I'll go up to 130.
Chicago, are you willing to match that?
Can we do a 3-way trade and get me Carrington? I'm playing.
That was sneaky.
I'm not playing though. Check your email. But yeah, we have all the money in the world in Chicago. Like I said, I was too conservative early on, thinking that I could. Yeah, we can do 130.
Okay, Washington, any higher than 130?
140.
Chicago,
145.
Washington,
147.
Chicago,
150.
151.
Chicago.
I feel like I'm overpaying. 153.
Okay.
Well, we'll bow out at 153.
Did you just do that to raise me up?
No, I did really want her.
Okay.
Once you started at 95, I was like, all right, bet.
I was trying to go low and then see what the market, how it plays out. But
okay, well, we'll go at 153 then. Michaela, back to Chicago. Okay, I guess we can try and rapid fire a little bit, and kind of just go through like the top of this unrestricted list, and if there's not any pressing names immediately, and we'll start off with Natisha Heidemann. If there's any interest in Natisha, Minnesota, we'll start with you. If there is a deal on the table.
So much like with Misha Hines-Allen, but on kind of the flip side with adding Jordan Canada, that's just not gonna be something we're really pursuing. I think right now we're probably looking at potentially some training camp contracts, and then very likely rostering both our first round and second round pick number 3.
Okay.
And so then it'd just be taking one out of training camp. So all that to say, no, we will not be offering on Natisha as much as I love her.
Okay. Any interest in Natisha?
We could use a backup point guard in Phoenix.
Okay.
If you want to officially take the Mercedes Russell money now.
Yeah. If we're Mercedes Russell back on the market. Okay. So are we saying what was she at? She was at 120 last year.
Yeah. We would start at 100, but as the market changes, we're willing to discuss that.
Her. Any other teams interested in Natisha?
I'll throw a bid in for 100.
Okay. Any other teams?
She could play for the vet minimum in Indiana if she wants.
Okay. Any other? No. Okay. Mercury, I think that's a solid deal. I think that makes sense. winning situation, be able to go into the postseason, we can knock that one down. I think that one works. Okay, next up we have Cheyenne Parker-Tyus out of Atlanta. Jamie, back to you to start off and figure out if there's any interest from the Dream there.
Nope. Again, I'll be less long-winded. We've already pretty much secured our front court.
Okay. Any interest in Cheyenne across the league?
One sec, maybe.
Okay. Anyone with firm interest in Cheyenne at all?
Never mind.
Oof.
Would she like to come and be Asia Wilson's backup for the vet minimum?
Well, potentially, sound the way the rest of the market's looking right now.
It depends whether Mercedes Russell is getting cut by Phoenix.
Yes,
or not,
so
right?
is Mercedes, that is officially cut?
Yeah, she's getting cut. Yeah, sorry about that.
So how about that? How about let's start with Mercedes, and then Aces. We'll come back on that, and but you are written down for Cheyenne. So Mercedes Russell, since we already did her earlier, signed to $100K to Phoenix, and is now not signed to Phoenix for $100K. Interest in Mercedes Russell as she is now back on the market.
I would have interest, depending on what other people's money offers are.
Okay. Who else with interest in Mercedes Russell? Kevin, do you have any? You mentioned depending on Mercedes. Okay. Well, Chelsea. What are we thinking here?
Vet minimum.
Vet minimum. Okay.
I mean, again, you can come for that in Indiana, but
this is everyone switched.
Whoa, mix up! Wow.
Indy for vet minimum as well for Mercedes Russell. Anything above a vet minimum for any teams?
I mean, I'd go up a little bit.
How much is a little bit? How much are we talking here?
Vet minimum's what, like 78?
Mm-hmm.
I could go to like 85.
85? Indy, are you willing to increase your offer by any means?
Hey, Kennedy Burke, we can't.
I do think that the Indiana situation is pretty enticing here to just go and be presumably just the first backup off the bench behind Aaliyah. Is that where we're at?
Well, our starters would be Boston and Natasha Howard. Alyssa
right.
Smith penciled in as sixth woman targeting the trophy, ideally.
Yep.
And then you're battling with Damiris Dantas, assuming she shows up for the next post role.
Okay, let's do that. We'll go Mercedes to Indiana and play that backup role there, and it can hopefully compete for in the postseason in that way. Okay, back to Cheyenne Parker. We have the Aces at vet minimum right now. Anyone battling the Aces for the services of Cheyenne Parker-Tyus? Going once, going twice. We'll keep
we
it
do
pushing.
A vet minimum in Phoenix too, if you want.
See, I think the vet minimum in Vegas is probably a little bit more enticing there.
No state taxes in Arizona.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, is either team willing to go a little bit higher?
So the vet minimum is currently what?
78831.
Okay. We could hit like 85 if you want.
Okay. Aces, are you able to go up at all?
We can get to 83.
Okay. We'll go. I think unless Phoenix is willing to go any higher, I think we'll go with Vegas. So Phoenix, is there any more wiggle room there to raise that
enjoy
up?
Vegas.
Okay, Vegas it is for Cheyenne Parker-Tyus. Coming off the bench. Let's see. How about aerial powers? Is there any interest in aerial powers? No. Okay. Okay. Is there any other players right now that there is just general interest in? Any names that anyone is looking forward to kind of throw up? If not, we'll literally just go down the list and see if there isn't.
Unless Madeline's interested in my trade offer, the Wings are interested in talking to Sammy Whitcomb.
Okay. We'll start there. So Wings, Sammy Whitcomb, what are we talking here?
We'd say 1 year, 120, I think.
Okay. Anyone else for Sammy?
I don't think
Nekias, you looking?
Yeah, I'm trying to see like how much, because this would very much be a Connecticut thing. I don't think I'd be able to get it to work. So.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. This was Connecticut all over it.
For Connecticut, without a move, you could get to 83.5. There is some room if you want to move like Nelson Adota or someone, but
nah, I guess that I'm out then.
Okay. Any other Sammy interest across the league?
LA already tried the Seattle shooter who forgot how to shoot last year, so I think we're gonna pass.
That's fair. That's fair. I think 120. She was at where was she at last year? 140. I think that's fair. I think 120 is a fair deal in Dallas. Okay. Any other names that pop up?
Yes, I would like to talk to Brianna Turner.
Okay, Bree Turner. Golden State, where are you starting at?
Vet minimum.
Vet minimum. Okay. League. Anything for Bree Turner? No. Okay. Okay. I think that about wraps that one up. Yeah, as we make our way down, the money is tightening up for everyone, so I understand. Anyone else just kind of looking down the list here? There's a Tiffany Mitchell, Sig Colson, Izzy Harrison.
Can I throw the vet minimum at Sydney Colson just for the vibes?
I mean, if Vegas is are you planning on matching the vet minimum for Sydney Colson?
I mean, our problem is we don't want to mislead her into thinking that there's a roster spot still available. So we wouldn't want to tell her that and then end up cutting her in training camp. We would offer her a front office role, essentially. Let's put her in PR rather than on the playing staff.
What a
Dang. Dang. Okay.
So I guess the V in Valkyries just stands for Vegas North.
I guess so. That's what it feels like.
It stands for vibes.
This is
for
what
vets.
Yeah, it's
vets and vibes in the vets.
Goodness. Okay. Well, I guess is there any other interest in Sig Colson?
Let's go. Face of the league.
I was certainly not expecting she might retire instead.
Then I just get more cap space. It's fine.
All right, sure.
Can I toss out 2 names?
Yeah, please.
Tiffany Mitchell at the vet's minimum for the Sun to bring her back.
Okay.
She's just healthy. And a flyer on Morgan Birch at her minimum for Washington.
Okay. We'll start off with Tiffany Mitchell. Is there any other interest across the league for Tiffany Mitchell? No. Okay. I think that works. For Morgan? Any other interest? Okay.
For who? I'm sorry.
For it was Morgan Birch, right? The guys. Yeah. Any interest? Okay. I mean, I think that wraps that up. Okay. Is there any other names as before we officially wrap this up and call quits to the 2025 Mock Free Agency? Everyone good?
Are you sure you don't want to trade Carrington?
Or Leah Edwards.
Leah Edwards. One final swing. Swing.
I believe
the issue is that the Sky needs a star like on top of their young core, and if they want to be elevated to the next level, and so that's where I'm at.
I just want a Leah Edwards.
I'm so sorry. I think those.
Nekias, you're in high demand, but unfortunately,
I think they'll be staying. I do just have a general question. Like, I'm not interested in this player, which sounds more mean than I intended. But I guess Diamond the Shields is just a free agent.
Yeah, is that
anyone gonna take a flyer?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, solid names like that are notable names. Whether it be Diamond the Shields, Aerial Powers, just kind of across the board. But
I mean, Diamond the Shields would be someone that I think Atlanta would potentially sign to like a low training camp contract. But that's just where I'm at with Atlanta right now.
Yeah.
Is you've got a pretty solid 9 already signed who some of them maybe aren't going to see a ton of time, but there's no one specific that I'm like, oh, tripping all over. But I mean, that I think she would end up somewhere.
Yeah,
the Liberty would be interested in Diamond to Shields too in a similar capacity, and we never did Rebecca Gardner.
Yeah, I mean, in Vegas, it's dependent on whether people like Xander Lassini and Jess Shepard show up, whether we would then have sort of roster spots left over for people to play on the minimum.
Okay, well, it sounds like the free agency period we are officially working our way into training camp, I think, at this point. So I think that is a good place to call it. If we, real quick, if we just want to kind of go across the board, kind of to summarize the moves a little bit, just super quickly, quick hits on your teams, how you feel it went. We had some crazy trades at the beginning, Jewel Lloyd, and then Satu for Ryan. The exchange I was not expecting at all. So let's just kind of quick hits to wrap this up. Jamie, we'll start with you and your 2 teams, and then we'll kind of just work our way across the screen here. But Jamie, you kind of just talked about the Dream, but the Dream and the Lynx, how you feeling?
Yeah, for the Dream, I mean, obviously a very different roster now, but really excited with some of the moves they made. I think that it's putting them in a position where if they're not competing for a title right away, they're at least going to be putting themselves in the conversation for the playoffs and to show a lot of these players the vision going forward to entice them to potentially sign next year as they start to build towards the real Carl Smesko sort of vision there. There will be bumps in the road, but it'll be interesting at the very least. And then in Minnesota, obviously you keep your core together. You make a couple of big moves. Kalani Brown, I'm ecstatic about having her in Minnesota. And Jordan Canada, I mean, if she returns to anything near the productivity she's had in the past, that is a coup for Minnesota. And if she doesn't, it's one spot for 1 year. So interested also to see who Cheryl ends up picking with the draft picks.
There you go. Kevin, how you feeling about your 2 teams?
Really good. I like the trades that we made. I targeted Ariel Atkins as a replacement for Jewel Lloyd once it became clear that Kelsey Plum wasn't going to be a possibility. And then between her and Samuelson, I think that solves the biggest on-court need for the Storm last year, which was they just didn't have enough shooting, especially with the down season for Sammy Whitcomb. So, feel really good about being able to bring back the rest of the core and add them. On Dallas's side, I did not expect to trade Satu Sabali, but to get an offer for a number 1 pick who's already been an all-star at such a young age and now, get a few more years of team control, because that's always an issue with Dallas, and players have tended to want to get out of Dallas. And, I think I'm optimistic that's going to change when they have their own facility and a new arena in 26, but that might have been too late for Satu Sabali. So, I think that's a much better situation for us. And then filled out the bench such that hopefully in future seasons, hardship players won't be the best reserves for the Wings.
That's an incredible goal to try and hit here. Richard, how you feeling about the Fever and the Aces?
I mean, pretty good. In Indiana, I think we're a little disappointed that we didn't add more, but we have strengthened in the post alongside Aaliyah Boston with Natasha Howard. Kennedy Burke is a solid addition as well on the wing. We thought maybe we'd be able to strengthen at that 3 spot more than that. We also chased Ariel Atkins, and unfortunately Kevin trumped our offer to manage to get that one done. But I think Indiana are stronger and will keep getting better with such a young core already. And we kept Kelsey Mitchell, who I thought you might come in saying that she wanted out, in which case we would have had to have come up with some sort of big deal there, which would have changed the roster a lot more from last year than we've had to. In Las Vegas, I like the way that we've kept the whole core together that won 2 rings, but entirely revamped the cast around them. Mieseman's a huge addition. Then We've managed to keep Hayes to add to the bench, add Diamond Miller, who's a wonderful option as a second draft possibility. I mean, she showed real potential in her first season and then didn't really have much of a chance last year after she got hurt in Minnesota. Jess Shepard's having a great time in Europe. So I think she's going to come back into the league and remind people how talented she is and can act as a second hub as well as a passer. And then we got people like Xander Lassini and Cheyenne Parker-Tyus to round out the bench. I think this is a much deeper team than it's been in previous years.
I agree. Madeline, how you feeling?
For the Liberty, I'm pretty content with it. I think that running it back made the most sense for them. Was a little bit disappointed that we couldn't get Alicia Clark just because I thought she would have been the perfect solution to losing Kayla Thornton in the expansion draft. But overall, I think that they're in a good position as defending their title. For the Sky, I think I would be fired. Did not do a good job. I'm not very happy with my roster, if I'm being completely honest. But, Chicago's had issues in the past with getting free agents and getting star players to stay, obviously. So, they're another team that, they've had a lot of changes this offseason and in recent years. Now that hopefully that kind of reputation might change. And I'm not going to be the one calling the shots. Thank God, because I'd be fired.
There you go. Chelsea.
Oh, man. I mean, Golden State. I didn't expect to have this many vets, but here we are. It's a vibe. We got 2 out of 4 Canadians, which I'm happy. I balled 50% on Canadians, which is fun. And then, we got Jewel Lloyd, which is probably the biggest deal of the day. We got our star. We have our franchise number 1 to build around now. And then you just surround her with vibes and cool peeps and Las Vegas Aces alums. And I'm pretty happy with what I did today. Everyone here is going to enjoy puppies and, just good energy in San Francisco, which I assume the city has. I've never been. So, yay.
Okay. I mean, I can work with that. I'm just glad that there's going to be puppies. Sabrina, the Mercury and the Sparks.
Yeah, so with the Sparks, had a lot of front court players already on the roster, so it didn't make sense to sign ahead of any of our veterans or even younger players. But I'm glad that we got to bolster the backcourt a little bit with Vandersloot and the trade for Ty Harris. And then the Mercury, I think, just added to their depth, I think in a meaningful way with Heidemann and Temi Fagbenle. So hopefully, that limits the need to rely on players like Natasha Mack and Kiki Herbert-Harrigan and the Amy Atwells of the world down the stretch of this season.
Yeah. All right, Nekias.
A little quieter than I anticipated outside of making the deal with Ariel Atkins and adding yet another pretty high first-round draft pick, so we can control the middle of the draft if we want. Can add a lot of young talent or can package a couple of those, make a move there. So it's fine with making that deal, getting more picks, also taking a couple of flyers. With Connecticut, we mostly retained everyone we wanted to retain. Probably could have did better with the Dejanay Carrington situation. But we are still just happy to have her overall. So, if that's the worst of it, then I'll obviously take that, to have that kind of player and that kind of person in the room. So, pretty pleased with how it went overall.
Perfect. Well, that'll do it for Mock Free Agency for 2025. Thank you to all the GMs that participated, and especially our league office for keeping everything organized and everything. Because what y'all don't see is this whole spreadsheet over here that is over. Look, I majored in words, not numbers, so this is a lot to me. So I'm happy that someone else is willing to do that. So thank you, Jacob. Thank you to our GMs, and thank you guys for tuning in to the 2025 Mock Free Agency. Go find everyone on socials and find their respective work at their respective places, and make sure you stay tapped in here on the Her Hoop Stats Network.